We did the pledge. Roll call.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Roll call.
Sabrina, are you here?
Roll call. I'm gonna call. What the hell?
We're doing the roll call. Are you here?
She's saying I can't hear you, I'm sure.
We're doing the roll call. Are you here? No. We didn't get there yet. We're doing roll call. Are you here? Speak so they hear. The whole thing is for us to now? Join FaceTime. What the heck? Wait. Sabrina, are you here? We're doing roll call. Okay. Thank you. Kim, are you here? All right. Dick?
Here.
Paul?
Here.
Eileen? Here. Joe, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Brenda? Here.
We hear Joe great.
How did he get so
I don't know.
Sabrina said yes, we need Kim.
Yeah, she is. That's the one wrong.
All right.
Repeat that.
Kim, are you here?
Was here.
You can hear her a little bit.
Okay,
hold
Kim,
on.
can you say that you are here again?
Yes, Kim is here.
Thank you. Okay. Proof of notice of the meeting, home.
I have the affidavit of mailing that went in per the Florida state statutes. It was mailed and emailed to owners, depending on how they have their system, their stuff set up with us, 14 days ahead of time. The affidavit will be kept part of the Monterey permanent files.
Thank you. All right, new business.
Put the microphones next to you.
Sorry, I'm like,
Hey, Holly, I think you need to move the speaker a little closer.
Oh, okay.
all right, new business.
Chair. It's fine. I got it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. We're at new business. Go ahead. The residents, it's going to be comments and residents, comments and discussion by owners. Let me tell you that this will be a maximum of 3 minutes. You'll come to the podium, and only one time per person. We can't have you back and forth. You can come up and speak, but only once for 3 minutes. There's so many that will have to speak, okay? So prepare what you're going to say first before. So we're open to comments from residents. Anybody want to speak?
Are we commenting on the building repairs first?
Hi, my name is Bernie Keller. I'm 23D, and I am for this assessment. I am for, pardon me? Yes, it is. I can hear it. It's on.
You got to speak close.
Well, I'm not going to touch it. I am for the assessment. All the other ponds were done. This pond needs to be done also. And I think the board is doing a great job. I mean, it's really hard to be on the board and have 500 people be Monday morning quarterbacks to what you're doing, especially when you're not even aware of all the information they have. You don't know what you don't know. And this is why you hired them. And they're doing a great job, and I support the board 100%. Thank you.
Thank you. Someone else? Jean?
Here's Kim's chat. Kim was back and then she.
I'm so confused, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Okay, we'll just.
Hold on, we have Jean speaking.
Testing. Can everyone hear me? Thank you. My name's Gene Ferretti. I have to look it up here. I've been coming to Monterey about 20 years. I've been on the board 5 years. I was president for 2. Saw a lot of storms, floods, trees down, and a lot of stuff going on here around hurricane time. We are in a flood zone, if you don't know. My building is probably in one of the worst ones. St. Lucie River is about a block away. I have seen ponds overflow on bulkheads many times just for heavy rain. You know, I was here when we had a Category 5. And believe me, you don't want to be here. It's scary. If I see a Category 4 or a Category 5 head my way, I am going to jump in a car and go in a different direction. Believe me, it's a scary time. Hurricanes. I want to talk about a couple of things briefly. I think our insurance needs a little touching on it, okay? Insurance premiums are skyrocketing. Everybody knows this, but I'd just like to go over it a little bit. There's no relief in sight. Okay, I'm going to talk about the other stuff. I'll be within my 3 minutes, hopefully. The threat from hurricanes, floods, and natural catastrophes have made the state, our state, a risky market for insurance providers. Natural catastrophes have impacted Florida and the United States in the last 5 years to the tune of $600 billion. $600 billion. Lots of things going on here. Cyclones. Just last year we had a tornado down in Atlanta with fatalities. So there's things going on. In 2021 alone, there were more than 12 storms that made landfall. Floods, wildfires, ice storms, etc. We now have several years in a row with this type of negative trend and impact on the insurance company or the insurance industry. We need to be prepared. We have been lucky the last couple of years. That's for sure. No doubt we must prepare. We must prepare our community better for hurricanes, storms, etc. The less damage, the less insurance companies' premiums that we'll see. This situation needs to be addressed and addressed soon or now. It's exactly what our board and property managers are doing. A great job, by the way. We talk about termites. I've never had termites in my house. Until this year, I got termites.
I'm sorry, it's time, to be fair, with the 3 minutes.
Okay, give me a minute. No. This is the important part. How about a half a minute? All right.
Just state your point real quick.
Just this. Termites need to be addressed. We have a severe problem with termites. Don't want to have your building tented. Believe me, you don't want to. Keeping our cement and concrete sturdy is a strong and very important, especially with stairways. Fixing concrete and cement by order of the worst units first is the best way to go as far as I'm concerned. No need to fix it if it's not broke. Assessments will probably get lower because the concrete work will be having less problems.
All right, well, thank you. I'm sorry, we got to cut you off.
All right.
Fair is fair. Thank you, though.
I'll say this as I'm leaving. Thank you.
It's nothing personal.
Ponds. Our pond on free is
Can't All right, next person.
Jean, it's my turn.
Thank you, Jean.
Hi, Lorraine Daniil. I was on the board for 8 years. Termites need to be done. I'm not going to discuss that. But one thing I want to say to all of you, we are all owners here. We voted this board, or any board, to make decisions for us regarding the repairs and whatever needs to be done to this community. So I thank them. They're working hard. They're working a lot harder than I ever did for 8 years when I was on the board. Now, buildings, when I was on the board, we heard about the building in Miami falling. And we decided to be proactive and, hey, let's have our buildings inspected. We did. But we didn't do anything about it. We got pricing and everything, but we wanted to keep the maintenance fees down, so we postpone it. Now, the ponds. Approximately 20 years ago, Jim Hensel, who was on the board, brought up Pond 5 because it needed repairs. It was dry. When I say dry, no water at all in that pond. We finally did something about 10 years ago. When I was on the board, I am the one that said we need to address these ponds, especially Pond 5, but all the ponds. If it happens to one, it'll happen to another. Nothing was done until I think about 2017 when we did Pond 5. Then it was delayed. A board had a 5-year plan. It is now 10 years later and the ponds aren't done. It is our responsibility as owners to take care of this property. Our buildings will be repaired, but we are not part of the state that requires any building 3 floors or more must maintain their property. We're only 2 floors. We are proactive, and that's fine. But as far as the pond goes, believe me, it's time. Bite the bullet and get the job done.
Thank you, Lorraine. Ralph? Still with us? I'm here. All right.
Good morning. I'm Ralph Staiano, 39F.
Yeah, quiet.
First of all, I want to thank the board. I think they're doing a hell of a job, and they have all of my support, and I appreciate every one of them. Second of all, I don't want to spend $2,700, okay? None of you want to spend $2,700. But work needs to be done. We can't keep putting things off. It's been put off for years, and I'm in favor of it, and I would do whatever I have to do to get it done. Thank you.
Good morning, Bobby Lane, 45E. Just a couple quick comments. I agree that the board is doing a great job. You guys realize that this is over $1 million a year business that they are running. COAs and HOAs, they run that much revenues and they're controlling. So it's a big job. Can't make everybody happy, but there's, the only thing that I'm concerned with is we're talking about 2 major issues. One is the pond and the other is the rails. Now you need to look at risk mitigation. What will result in the most injury at that time? Is it the ponds or is it the rails? And that should be, whoever it is, you decide, that should be the first priority and then the second priority. So think about that. The third thing is, I think we also got a bigger problem. The cost of running the business is going up. Obviously, there's some things that have to be worked on. However, the property values are going down, and they're going down quickly. So you need to take a big, deep dive into the regulations that we have and come up with maybe a better way of running this place. Take a look at the rules, like 3 years before you can rent a place. It's an issue. Renters having free golf because owners making money away, but the golfers, they're renters and they're getting the same privilege as you as the owner. That needs a big question. And the other thing is, it's important to me is, if I have an automobile and the brakes are bad, really bad, and I need interior work on the car, I don't think I want to do interior work first. I think the most important thing is getting the brakes fixed, and I think that's what we're looking at between the rail system and the pond system. They both need to be done, but what's going to get done first and what's going to get done second? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes. Hold on.
Morning, everybody. I'm David Boyce. I live in 9A. And I just want to piggyback on what he was saying. I think that I agree that all the work needs to be done. I'm not so convinced on the ponds, but at a time when we have so much work that there's more assessments than we can even do in a year to repair the physical buildings, that to do something like the ponds, which in my humble opinion, if we didn't do them this year, they'd look exactly the same next year. So, you know, if we have that much in assessments that we can't even do all the physical work that needs to be done, and I think should be done, that I just think that we should consider, like he said, what do you do first and what do you do second? I think we should repair the buildings, and those are dangerous. And I think if we did nothing to the ponds this year, it would look exactly the same next year. And we could do it then. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Chuck?
Good morning. My name is Chuck Parks, 45D. What my concerns is when we have an assessment brought before the community, they're supposed to look at every aspect of what's going on to assess this, okay? I have a big problem with it because what they're saying is not what the engineers are saying, not what people are saying, and it doesn't have to be done right now. Well, my problem is, and I want to ask a couple board members a question here. Paul, you've only been on the board for 3 or 4 months, correct?
Correct.
Okay, have you guys looked into any factor of what maintaining these bulkheads are going to cost us over 10 or 15 years? These bulkheads are only a life expectancy of 15 to 20 years, okay? Have you guys looked at any cost factor, what it's going to cost us for maintenance to maintain these over the next 20 years?
I have not.
Okay, thank you. Joe, I'll ask you, you're in the construction business pretty good. Have you guys ever discussed any kind of maintenance program that you need to tell the residents what it's going to cost us in the next 15 or 20 years to maintain these ponds?
I have a bulkhead right now that's 23 years old. It's like the day it was put in, Chuck.
Is there any...
I have it right in my backyard. I can go take a picture of it.
Pardon me? I'm sorry. Okay, well, anyways, is there anything in the program to maintain these ponds? Well, what we're doing is, and Holly, I asked you, what are we doing to maintain the ponds?
Well, we have a lake company that comes out and maintains the
What do
ponds.
they do?
They treat for invasive weeds, they test the water, they look for algae.
Okay, well, let me say this. What they're doing as far, if they're maintained properly, they can last longer. In order to maintain ponds, at least once or twice a year, you need to pressure clean them. It depends on what the algae is, what the humidity is, all the factors involved. You need to maintain those ponds by either pressure cleaning them and putting a water sealer on it. When you go over here and spray and pull weeds out between the cracks, that's worse than leaving them there. And let me just give everybody a scenario in here, which you probably all know. If you drink wine, okay, I think a few of us do, and you have the cork and you turn it over, nothing's coming out. You take the cork out, pour it over, and stuff's coming out. When you pour the plants and the grass out from these ponds, you are leaving it whole so the sand and stuff can erode into it, okay? That's just normal. What you're supposed to do with these ponds, when you find holes and cracks in them, you're supposed to put polyurethane in them and stop the leaking. That's what causes erosion. I mean, look this up. I mean, it's pretty common sense if you look at it. But we're not maintaining these ponds that we've spent $600,000 on already and looking to spend another $506,000. And another thing is I don't understand on our assessment says this, I got 1 minute. Well, I'm going to take a little bit, change it a little bit.
Nope.
Our
3 minutes are up.
Huh?
Your 3 minutes are up.
Well, you gave it to Gene. You gave time to Gene. Okay, this is the last thing I'm saying. In our assessment, because you guys are assessing 1.2 million or something. Well, when I look at the contract that was signed, the contract for the ponds are $87,000 less than our assessment. Why is that? Why is that? Do the math on it. 12,000 something, you take away 438,000, you're assessing us $87,000 more than what the pond repair is. So why are we doing that? Well, that stuff needs to be explained to the residents. You guys don't explain anything. And we need to maintain these ponds, and we're not doing it. Thank you.
Assessment. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
Contingency. The extra money is for contingency.
It's in case something, they get into the pond and they find something more, I'm sorry, is Sabrina talking? Or is that my reverb?
Oh, yeah, just take her off speaker. I don't know what they're doing.
So the contingency's built in case when they start working on the pond, they find more issues that are gonna cost maybe more money to fix it like it should be fixed. That's why we added it in there, so we would not need to come back to the owners and say, we need more money to finish this project. And please remember, any money that's left, it's still your money. It's not going anywhere. The board would make the decision to add it to reserves, keep it in the pot for, the next assessment to offset that. So the best case scenario, when it's all said and done, we should still have some of that money left in order to offset next year's assessment, or like I said, whatever the board votes to do with that money. But it is still your money. It's collected, it's gonna be used for the property, if that answers that question.
Does it? Wally?
Wally Tejan, 45A. I really didn't want to come up here, but I had to. I was on the board for 4 years myself. I know what it's entailed to do the work that this board has done. We as an organization have voted these 7 people in. I have full confidence that they have done their work, their research, and have come to the conclusion that they presented in front of us. I can commend them, and I accept everything that they say. Thank you.
Thank you, Wally. Come on. Oh. We'll get you. That's okay. You're on your way.
Good morning. My name is Sue Lane. I live in 45E with my husband, Bobby Lane. Thank you, board, for all you do. I've been on many boards. It's a very, very difficult position to be in. There's lots of decisions to make. I just want to echo what Bob said. This is a big business. I don't think all of us realize what a big business we have right here. And making a decision, I do not think that the assessment is not necessary. I do think it's necessary, and I don't mind paying it. I'm sorry that I have heard there are a lot of residents that cannot afford it, and that makes me very sad. But I think we need to think safety first. Safety, if somebody falls because the railing is bad, or because there is broken concrete on those steps, we've got a much bigger problem than we have today. So thank you for letting me speak, and I do appreciate your work.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Linda Martin in 20A, and I thank you all for all the hard work you do. My question is, I was under the understanding, I was told when I moved here 6 years ago, like our HOA, you know, because I'm an A, you know, of course, we pay the most because it's a larger square footage. And I know it's in the bylaws that are ancient, and I think they need to be reviewed because, like, pay the most for everything. I pay, you know, the ones in those end buildings pay the most for the HOA, which is fair, but every time an assessment comes up, pay the most. Everything is, I feel like I'm being punished because I have a little bit more square footage than the other condos. And what does it paying more have to do with fixing the catwalk or the railings? It has nothing to do with what size, how many square footage you have inside. I think it should be level and everybody pays the same. I think that's fair. And I'm a widow. My husband's the one that drowned here 5 years ago. And, you know, I'm on a fixed income, and I struggle. I'm going to have to make a loan to pay this special assessment. I fall in that bracket. And, you know, I'm not a rich widow, so, you know, some people are lucky they get a lot of money. I didn't. And, you know, I just think that should be reviewed about the HOA. And where does what is it used for? You know, doesn't get put like in, you know, to the side for going towards things that have to be worked on like this? You know, I don't understand it, you know.
The HOA is used for the lease payment that we make every month.
Okay.
Maintaining the golf course is a very big expense.
And that's another
So it's
thing.
operating.
I physically
your
can't
cable.
play golf, and there's a lot of people in here that can. And, you know, that comes out of the HOA.
It
but
is a
you
golf
can't-
community.
You know.
What else? The operating expenses, the reserves, your
The what?
cable is included.
The what?
The cable.
Of the cable, yeah.
The trash, the recycling.
Well, I know what it covers.
Water.
But I don't know.
I mean, there's a list
Where I
of-
came from was like 3 times bigger than this, and the HOA was like a couple $100. And they took, knocked down a whole building and built a whole new clubhouse with saunas and, you know, marble bathrooms and everything. They have 3 clubhouses and they have 3 pools.
Yeah, time.
And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's why people aren't buying it here, is because it's too, they find out how expensive
Should I say 12 minutes of solar?
Diane Parks, 45D. Can you hear me? One thing I wanted to ask the board. There was several letters that were sent to you.
Yes.
Are we going to be reading those letters?
I believe Sabrina will answer that. Sabrina? The letters. Will we be, will,
Okay, because there's so many people that couldn't be here. That's the way they're communicating.
they'll be addressed.
Okay, that's
I
good.
won't say they're gonna be all read, there's many, too many.
Okay, well, but the reason there's so many is that you guys have this meeting in the summer and nobody's here. Well, there is quite a few people though. Okay. The other thing I wanted to bring up.
Hold on.
I think
Just
she's
listen,
talking.
okay?
we all don't want to be at each other about this. We would like to agree.
Yes.
And I appreciate everything you guys have done. But we need to follow the rules and the regulations and that Florida statute. That's all I'm asking of you guys. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Anyone else? Anyone? Speak now.
Hi, my name is Fabi Salom. I'm 32G. I have a unit here for 20 years. And I agree that everything has to...
Speak closer to the mic.
I agree that everything has to be done, but I think it's too many projects at the same time, and the impact, the economic impact they have to the community is big. So for some reason, they have to take a little bit of consideration for people that live here that's fixed income. And I believe the things have to be done, but why everything at the same time in the same year in such a small time to pay the amount of money that we don't talk for $100, we talk almost $3,000 for few people. So I don't know about you guys, but in my part, I don't know if I can come up with $3,000 to the end of the month. Because on top of that, we have to pay the HOA that has to be addressed every month. And I agree that everything has to be done, but the problem is that we have today, they want to be in the same year. Why we don't address this little by little? Like maybe it's more affordable for everybody. That's my thinking.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone? Yes, Jacob.
Thank you. Jacob, 24I. Just a couple of comments. I've heard several things about how things get delayed. We started out 10 years ago with something, and it's been so long. And these buildings, and then of course, you know, the lump sum that we have to pony up in the next 2 weeks. So when it comes to the buildings, we're talking about 1/5 of the buildings that are going to be worked on. Personally, I think we should look at all of them up front and plan for that as soon as possible rather than waiting another. The boards change, things change, and rather than wait 10 years or 5 years or whatever it is, we should plan on getting it done now. However, the paying with the payments, we should also figure out how we can do an installment plan that says we make the payments maybe every month or maybe every year, but we know way in advance what's coming. So my recommendation is plan on the entire amount. And I know I've talked to several of you recently, but we should know up front, this is what it's going to cost, and we're going to get it done before the boards change and things get delayed and people have other ideas and things like that. So that's all I have to say is installments and look at the whole shebang.
Thank you, Jacob. Just to say, as far as the buildings go, the first 10 buildings are the worst 10. Every building has been checked by this engineering company. So it's not like we're picking and choosing. They're spread out because building 1, building 29 are some of the worst. The first 10 are the worst. And then we'll work our way through the next list of which is the worst moving forward. Does that answer your question, Jacob?
Yeah, sure. But my point is let's get
Brenda.
figured out, you know, but
Brenda,
You want to speak?
yeah.
Go ahead.
Can I speak through, can you hear me through the Zoom? Or do I need to be on my speaker? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, as far as doing the buildings all at once, we did ask the building companies, or the building contractors about, like, the pricing and what would it be, like, could we get the pricing for, like, everything and then like plan it out. But the thing is, none of these builders want to, plan for 5 years ahead of time, all at one time. You can't go ask the builder, because we did try to get them to give us the prices for the next, like, few years together. They won't do that because they don't know what the prices are gonna be. So it's the way this would end up working, it would be, if you wanted to do everything at once, it would be an all or nothing project. We would have to get the contractors, get the bids on all 51 buildings, and we would have to charge the whole thing at once. And we couldn't divvy it out to the owners over 5 years or over, a long period of time, because then we would have to get a loan out. We would have to get a loan, and then you would be paying more on that loan and the interest. We found that the best way to do it was the way we are doing it, where you're doing you're starting with the worst buildings and then progressing to the next step and then the next step, doing it that way.
I'd like to add something. I recently found out that Park Square, right up the street, is a much smaller community. They started out with a $10,000 assessment. It is now up to $25,000. And the association is taking out a loan, and these payments will be made. So we have done our due diligence and tried to pick the best way for the community. Thank you.
I just got one comment you need to be aware of. If you sell your property, I've already been out there. If you sell your property, you gotta claim on that and pay it. Pay the assessment before
Yes.
you can sell it.
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay, move
Or
on.
negotiate with the buyer.
5 years assessment, correct?
No.
No.
10 buildings a year, if we got 51 buildings, and we're at high school, that's 5 years.
Anyone else want to speak? Last call.
Are you going to be explaining to us at this meeting when this money is due?
Yes.
We're going to be able to have payments
Yes.
and all that?
Payments? It's expected to be paid by a certain date.
I heard that was
I'll
changed.
talk. We'll talk about it in a little bit, okay? We won't leave you out. So we're done? You want to speak?
Hi, I'm Carmen Kelp, 29B. As far as selling your place, the way it works, I asked my broker, and he said, like if you sell this year, you pay your assessment for this year with the understanding that the buyer is responsible for future assessments.
Correct.
But you gotta disclose them. You gotta disclose.
Absolutely.
So you're going to place for 5 years.
Anyone else? Okay. Paul, you have something to say?
But we closed out the comment section of the,
Yes.
We have, yes, we have.
okay.
Can everybody hear me? Okay, yeah, I guess so. With the help of Keith and Diane in the office, I was able to go through records and invoices and proposals for the previous ponds to see what the costs were. I went through and essentially to try and compare apples to apples, got a per foot charge of what it costs to put in the bulkheads that are already in. In 2017, they did the first pond number 5, and it cost $212 per linear foot. In 2019, for pond 4, it went to $217. In 2022, pond 8 cost $200 a linear foot. In 2023, there were 3 ponds that were done. Pond 25 went up to $335 a foot, and then ponds 1 and 2 were $365 a foot. The cost for the pond number 3, the quote came in at $580 a foot. So if we kick it down the road another year or two, that cost is probably going to be up. And just the company that did pond 25 and 1 and 2 also bid on pond 3. They were not the low bid. So it's not like we're, picking a company that is having exorbitant costs. The same company that had already done ponds here bid, but they were not the low bid. So the cost continues to go up, which is one of the reasons why we want to get this done now, so we don't have a huge assessment just to get the bulkhead done on pond 3. Okay.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, Sabrina?
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Can you all
Or do
hear
I
her?
need to- Can you hear me on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. So first thing, Diane asked about letters. We have gotten so many letters, both for and against the pond, and the assessment and the whole thing, that they're too numerous to read. So there is nothing in the statutes that states that we have to read the letters. It's mainly a courtesy, and because it would take so much time, we have decided not to read any of the letters. That being said, now I'm going to move into what we were going to talk about. I'm sorry about that, everybody. I really wanted to, but we would be here another couple hours reading. So now I want everyone to know that we did follow all the statutes every step of the process. It is not true that we didn't follow the statutes and that we didn't follow the bylaws. And we were completely transparent. We have been letting you know ever since March, like the first board meeting we had in March when we had the new board, we're letting you know that these assessments were coming down the pike. We were letting you know about the buildings. We let you know about the termite remediation or prevention. It's more prevention. And we let you know that we were looking into the pond. So we were transparent, and we did follow all the rules. When necessary, we contacted our attorney for legal advice. We wanted to make sure we were doing everything the right way. If we were not sure, we did that. We reviewed 3 contractor bids at least that were all obtained through Watson, our company. And we employed engineers for the buildings and for the ponds to obtain their expert opinions. So somebody asked, I had a couple questions about, did we ever think about doing something like, did we ever have other options that we were thinking about with the special assessment? There did come a point where some people were iffy, where first we wanted to do the pond, then some people were not sure whether we should do the pond. So rather than just go haphazard at it, we had decided to get a engineer report and make sure that it needed to be done. So yes, we had other options. We were thinking about everything, and we did obtain everywhere we needed. We went and obtained expert opinions. We considered every and all possible courses of actions, and we do worry about our residents. What we're doing is we are doing it for the best interests of the community. These are things that need to get done, and we need to do them. And we can keep pushing them off and pushing them off, but we cannot push them off until they're an emergency. And our mandate as a board is to maintain this community and maintain the property. I don't want to do it. I don't want to pay the assessment myself, but we have to do it. And I'm on an end unit. So look what I'm paying, the top dollar amount. Do I like it? And I don't like that it's split the way things are split, but that's by the bylaws. By the bylaws, and even in the statutes, it says pretty much in Florida, that's the way it works. It's based on your square footage, and that's how they calculate everything out. So the whole board was involved in all the decision making. Everybody had a voice, Everybody had an opinion. We didn't all always agree, and we did everything we had to do to come to an agreement. Like I said, if we needed expert opinion, if we needed an engineering report, we went and did it. All of our decisions and actions have been performed in good faith. We employed the business judgment rule in all of our decision making. We did everything to the best of our ability with everybody's well-being and the community's well-being in mind. So I wanted to say that. Now I'm going to go on to talk about the pond. Our basins are all part of the South Florida Water Management System. The water management from the plaza next door, like around Hole 3, I think it's Hole 3. Yeah, it feeds into Basin 3, and all the water from all the basins feed into the St. Lucie River. Our system, our infrastructure is 55 years old. So remember when I was saying retention basins and ponds, and one of the letters, they said, what's the difference, retention basin, pond? There is a difference. I was saying this is like a huge plumbing system, and that's what the South Florida water system is. That's what this is part of. It's not a pond. It is a retention basin because there's, with the South Florida water retention system, there are two types of basins, and one of them is a retention basin. So it's a huge plumbing system. We are all required to make sure that the system functions efficiently to prevent floods. It's supposed to be able to withstand hurricanes, like the worst possible hurricane, and any type of deluge of water and whatever. So our stormwater system infrastructure has suffered from unintentional neglect. Due to it has sediment buildup and debris accumulation in the pipes and drainage systems, root intrusions from mature landscaping, joint plate failures in aging concrete and metal pipes. There's also surface erosions from water infiltration, and we have really not done a good job, and this is nobody's fault, from comprehensive inspections and maintenance programs. Maybe, you know, this is something we need to work on a little better, although I do know we do dredge and do some other things which Holly was mentioning earlier. It is KMCA's responsibility to maintain the stormwater management infrastructure system. Developer, okay, I'm gonna read, where's mine? Okay, this is how it works. I'm reading up from the about stormwater system.
Something happened.
What? You lost me?
You're cutting out.
Speak into the speaker. Can you hear me?
Can you hear her?
Should I go on the phone? Should I go on the speaker phone?
I got you on the speakerphone. Go ahead, finish.
Okay. All right, so, where did you lose me? Because I started over.
No.
Brenda.
What?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead and continue.
Okay. All right. So the responsibility for the stormwater systems in Florida, there is responsibility for permitting most stormwater systems rest with the water management districts. After the developers complete the construction of the permitted system in residential areas, the permit and the legal responsibility for maintaining these systems are typically passed on to a homeowner or condo owners association or property management company. Now here's the kicker for us. It is then that the upkeep and maintenance of the system the association, not the developers. The association is responsible for labor and expense for keeping up the systems functional and operating as it is designed. The responsibility applies to every homeowner and property owner in the neighborhood, even if they do not live adjacent. So what I'm saying is, this is our responsibility to maintain it. It's not draining properly. So we're not doing a beautification thing here. We're doing a repair. In addition, our land lease requires that we maintain the property. So, and then the other thing, we wanted to make sure that the pond really needed to get done, so we went and got a we got it on May 12th, 2025 is when we got the report, but we went and asked an engineer to tell us what is it that how is this pond doing and what do we need? If it needs something, what does it need? So on May 12th, we received this geotechnical engineering report that is stamped PE, which also means professional engineers. It's like a designation for engineers. The engineers stated that the pond, that doing the pond will stabilize the shoreline, mitigate further erosion, and protect the surrounding landscape and infrastructure. We have an active erosion problem that threatens nearby trees progressively encroaching on adjacent structures. The PE stamp that's placed on the report means that the engineer who did this report or anybody that works in his office for him are liable for the accuracy of the content and recommendations in any report or design that he or his office staff author. So this is not a light report. It carries a lot of water, and it also, he's liable for whatever he put in here. So there's no lies in here, nothing, okay? Now I'm gonna read the letter from our attorney, the legal opinion of the installation of retaining walls, because he did say that we would need retaining walls and they needed to go down a certain length, a certain depth to mitigate erosion. So here's the letter, the legal opinion on installation of retaining walls. Dear board members, this is a response to your request for legal opinion on whether membership approval is required to install retaining walls around a retention pond. Section 6 of the second amended and restated declaration of condominium for King Mountain sets forth the procedure for making alterations, additions, and improvements to the common elements. It states the association shall have the right to alter and improve the common elements, association property, and to assess each unit owner for the proportional share of the cost thereof. Provided, however, that any improvements or alterations that cost in excess of $51,000 must be approved by a majority of the voting interest of the condominium. Said approval must be in advance of obtained at a regular or special meeting of the members by written consent. This provision permits the association without a vote arbitrators have held that restoration and repairs necessary to maintain a canal system, pool, and roadways do not require owner authorization and unit owner approval unless unnecessary for construction of a rock, wait a minute, okay. And unit owner approval was unnecessary for the construction of rock retaining wall that protected the common elements. So it's not required for the retaining wall. Arbitrators have also held that it is within the board's judgment to determine whether to replace an element of common elements which has performed poorly or is defective with an improved modern version that is comparable in form and function. It is my understanding that the retention pond in question is suffering from, okay, this is regarding older stuff, is suffering from significant erosion and requires repairs to prevent further erosion and damage to the common elements. This retention pond is part of the overall drainage system, which I was explaining, in King Mountain and must be properly maintained to provide proper drainage to the community. We don't want floods. It's also my understanding that the association form, oh no, okay, I'm not going to read that part. It's the committee. This is back a while. Okay, so basically that's the part that applies to us. Now, I'm going to talk about one last thing, and then I'm going to close out. I got to find it. Hold on 1 second. All right. Another thing that I heard was brought up by, I believe it was Chuck at some point, I heard it, was about Florida Statute 718.113. Or I heard some people say that we require 75% approval of the total voting interest. The other thing was because it was 51,000, you needed 50% more, but I just proved to you that we have to maintain this stormwater system because it is a part of our mandate. And also this other thing talks about material alterations and substantial additions to condo property. What it's basically saying, if you want to change something to a community, to a property, and for example, we want to change our roofs to a totally different roof, or we want to do some different change to our building, that is an alteration that has to go to the community and receive 75% vote, not a repair to the ponds. That is not one of those kind of improvements. Or let's say we wanted to go and remove our shuffleboard court. We say nobody uses that. Let's put pickleball in there. That is a material alteration that would require a 75% vote by the community. So this statute also does not apply to us. We have talked to the attorney and made sure we are correct on every decision that we've made. We've done our due diligence to make sure we are on the right path. So I am confident that we did things the way we're supposed to do things. And with that, I conclude what I was talking about, and I would like to move that we go on to the vote.
We're not taking, you spoke already.
I cannot respond to what she's saying?
No.
No.
You had your time.
Okay, are we doing Robert's rules here? Are we doing Robert's rules? Huh?
We allowed you the 3 minutes to speak
Are
per
we-
Robert's
I can't hear
rules.
you.
We provided you the 3 minutes per Robert's rules to speak.
Okay, and through Robert's rules, I can make a motion to you guys to vote on to give me another minute or two to extend this conversation. So I'm making a motion that the board gives me a couple more minutes to extend this conversation.
He's not on the board. This is a
So I
board
can
meeting.
provide Sabrina's comments.
All right. Dick? No, oh, we can't vote. We don't have to. You had your time, you're not on the board.
You're using Robert's rules, is it Robert's?
Are we
If you're
using
gonna use Robert's rules, then I can speak as long as I want to.
Come up and say what you got to say. 3 minutes.
Quickly,
Quickly.
right.
We got things to say.
Can you hear?
Okay, Chuck Parks, 45D again. Sabrina, I just had a couple questions for you. No big deal. You got the contractor that's going to do the ponds, correct? What are they using to go pull permits to do the pond? Are they using an engineer report to pull those permits?
They're doing what they have to do according to law. They're pulling the permits. I'm not hearing you too well.
What's,
They're pulling the permits according to law.
okay, so if you're going to use the engineer report, the engineer says we need to do the whole bulkhead. And there should be a drawing of what we're doing to take to the for the permits, okay? I've done this many a times. I'm an ex-contractor. So you got to have if you have a drawing and an engineer report, you take that. So I'm just asking, are they going to do what the engineer says? Okay. Do you? Who's that, Joe? I
Joe,
can't hear.
go ahead, Joe.
Can't hear you, Joe.
There'll be a complete design drawing when they go to apply for the permit.
Drawing with
Yeah, say it again, Joe.
There'll be a complete design drawing when they go to apply for the permit.
Correct,
They
it
don't
has
just
to be.
apply for the permit with nothing. They have to have a complete drawing design on exactly what they intend to do.
Well, I'm just saying, Joe, that according to the engineer, that we need to do the whole pond, okay? That's what I'm saying. That was his recommendation, okay? And there's a reason for that, because of erosion on the other side, okay? So I was just wondering if they were going to do that. And let me just, my last comment, and I'm done. All of our documents, our amendments, all of our bylaws, all of our thing, Florida statute are over all those. You can make amendments to those, but you can't change them. And so all the things you're saying that we're not breaking any bylaws or Florida stats are wrong. And one of them is probably the last meeting we had on Tuesday. We had a rectification of a vote that was done illegally. And in order to do that, you have got to, that's got to be in your docs. That's got to be in your docs that you're allowed to rectify something. And I've looked everywhere in there where can anybody find that?
Ratify, not rectify.
Can anybody find that?
I can explain that to you, Chuck. The unanimous consent form is signed by all board members, and we're agreeing to take certain issues that we signed for to a board meeting. The ratification, we looked at, oh, that's your time.
Okay, thank you.
We looked at each one of those 3 contracts individually at a scheduled board meeting and voted on them. There was no vote on the unanimous consent form. That was an agreement to take those to a board meeting. That's what the unanimous consent is, not a vote.
I was on the board for 2 years and we didn't vote, but when you sign contracts and stuff with people, you voted on it. I mean,
No.
You already signed the contract. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck. Are we ready to move for a vote?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I make a motion to vote on the proposed special assessment.
I second.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Kim? Kim?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Joe?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Eileen?
Yes.
Brenda, yes. So that has passed. Motion passed. And now we'd like to vote on the proposed manner of payment for special assessment, which includes check, credit card, or click pay.
Yeah, which is the same, they just go through, that's what the system's called.
So those are the three options.
Or, I mean, we'll even take them in the office at this point if.
A check?
Yes, a check, no cash, checks only. No credit cards, we only take checks
So
in
you
the
don't have
office.
to actually mail the check, you can drop it to the office.
We'll do that as a courtesy.
People to know that we're changing, that you're gonna get another letter because we're changing the date of the payment.
Okay.
Right, Holly?
Yes.
Yes. Since it's been passed,
It should have been a month after
What is it,
the
July 12th?
vote, so the date is changing to what, July 12th?
July 12th, yes.
July
for 30
12th
days.
will be the new due date for the payment. July 12th.
You'll all
So
get an
we've,
email blast or another letter.
you'll get another letter after this meeting.
Via email, via
And
email.
Via email.
You can pay at any point in time after this. If you want to pay it on credit card, you got to go onto the website, and I think you go down to, not where you would pay your dues, but on the bottom part.
Okay.
And then you click it, it's got a little chart, and the little chart shows you, like, if you wanted to pay by credit card, it'll show you all the different fees, like, if you use, for example, Discover charges this much, this other card charges that much, so you could, some people that like to get their points, you can go on and do it
Okay.
that way and get your points, but you're gonna pay whatever the fee is that you're gonna get a little upped fee, like a lot of places, businesses do these days.
Okay.
So, and
Okay.
obviously, if you have
Thank-
questions, if you're trying to do it,
Oh.
you can always go to the office, call the office and ask.
All right, hold up a minute. Yes.
I have a quick question. If you use a credit card,
Up to the podium, please.
She's flying away.
Millie Chambers, 24B. I just have a quick question. If we use a charge card to pay this, it's legal. But are we going to have to pay an extra 3% to you for processing it?
It's to the company, it's not, the association does not get that money, it's through the credit card company, or the
Same you would-
processing fee.
The same as if you were charging somewhere else, furniture or,
There's always a transaction
there's always
fee.
a transaction fee to use the card.
To use the card. On the website.
That's the card.
I believe you can do it on can you do?
Yeah.
You can pay it on the Vanica line.
Yeah, it's in the agenda, I mean, it's posted there, they're gonna get that information again when we
You're
send
gonna
out
get the
letter.
information in the letter coming out tomorrow, okay?
Okay. Brenda.
Quickly, Tom.
Tom Andrews, 25E. I go along with everything that the board has done. I think they did a wonderful job. I don't mind paying the assessment. But why can't we fill out a check, drop it in the office, they can get it to Watson, we don't have to pay
can do that.
any interest or anything
Yeah,
else.
we'll do that, I said, we're gonna take checks as a courtesy, I mean, we
So-
normally don't, but please
So
bring
you
them in the
can drop
office.
check off.
So we can drop it in the office?
Most certainly.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Very-
no
Thank
problem.
you very much. Now,
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
this has been a meeting with contention. I would like to give somebody a round of applause for doing a beautiful job on the carpets. This place looks beautiful. The colors blend in. It's a really nice job that has been done, and let's end this in a positive note. Thank you.
Thank you.
One question. So for what I understand, the meeting today was to vote and for all the members, but what I see is you already had the decision, so we don't have nothing to choose.
No, it's not an owner vote, this is a board vote.
Oh, so it's not like, oh, okay, so, that's what I was understanding.
I wanna talk to you afterwards.
Yes.
And you too. Okay, so we need a motion I make a motion to vote on the proposed manner. Okay. No 3 minutes.
I may be a little ahead of the time, but it is obvious this board has done their due diligence in doing all this research. And I know it's a tough job, and I know there are some that are probably with tight money. But we are proud of this place, and let's get, to me, let's get that pond done so that we do not talk about it anymore. The buildings will get done. The buildings will get done. And it's a 3, 4, 5 year plan, depending on the cost. And we all know we have to start saving now for the next assessment also. So I want to thank the board. They have done a fantastic job.
Okay, that's it. So we've made a motion to propose manner of payment for special assessment being check, credit card, or click pay. Second?
Second?
Eileen seconds the motion. Sabrina? Sabrina?
Yes.
We're voting on the manner of payment.
Yes.
Kim?
Can you hear me? Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Eileen?
Yes.
Brenda, yes. Okay.
That's it. Time to adjourn.
You'll also receive another letter, and the new payment due date will be July 12th. If anybody has questions or wants some information about the payments, please don't hesitate to ask one of the board members or see Holly.
It's just the credit card.
Online.
Yeah, online.
No. Quick Pay is not a credit card.
Oh, it's not?
No. Because Quick Pay is how you pay using your bank account.
Oh, using
And
your
you
bank
go in,
account.
Put your routing number and your account number in, and
Okay.
then it will take it directly out of your account. You don't have to write a check.
If you need any assistance on how to pay, please stop at the office and Danny will help you. Holly will.
Danny will help you. Danny will help you.
Especially if you're doing it online and you have a problem, okay? I call the meeting adjourned. We have to vote?